right, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here this evening. Our webinar tonight, The Harsh Truth About Retiring in Portugal. We're having a quick chat and a warm-up and acknowledging that Portugal is a great place to be. And it does look like a paradise, but for many expats, it can be a financial trap. And we're going to go through some of those pitfalls tonight. Too many retirees arrive unprepared and can pay the price. From hidden fees to tax nightmares, even small missteps can cost you thousands. And once you're here, fixing them isn't easy. We've got experts to help you with that. In this eye-opening live webinar tonight with the Expats Portugal members, sign up at expatsportugal.com. Our expat panel of Sarah Davey of Spartan FX, Nuno Menj from Winsurance, and Henry's here as well from Holborn Assets, Henry Kent. They will expose the most common and expensive financial mistakes retirees make in Portugal and show you how to avoid them before it's too late. Things like currency fluctuations that might silently erode your income, losing money to hidden fees and bad exchange rates. I think we know who's going to be answering or addressing those issues. Your investments might be illegal or tax efficient in Portugal. Let's find out how it works with compliance here in Portugal from Henry. You're probably paying more tax than you need to. Again, Henry can address that. And you may not have planned for healthcare or long-term care yet. We'll help you do that with the help of Nuno Mensch tonight, of course, from Winsurance. So these issues we'll be looking at this evening, a little bit more hard-hitting than perhaps you're used to, but we want to get to the bottom of these things and to help you to understand them. And if you want to carry on the conversation about any of these things, do so on our forum. Expats Portugal members, of course, can do that. They're here this evening to ask questions in the Zoom. And if you sign up at expatsportugal.com, you can join them on the forum and here on a Thursday evening. So let's get going. And I think we should go to you, Sarah, if we may. I thank you for turning your fan off. A nice warm evening in Estoril this evening, I believe.
Well, if I start melting, you might have to send help.
We are watching closely. Okay, but yeah, it's a bit of a peril with Zoom calls, isn't it? It's having the buzz of the fan. Any tips on quiet fans for webinars? Gratefully received in the chat here this evening. Could you introduce yourself to people who might not know you? We are having a lot of new viewers to the Expats Portugal YouTube channel. Many of our members here used to dealing with you. They know you. They've seen you on the webinars, and they deal with you and your team. But for anyone who hasn't met you, can you give us your quick elevator pitch so that people can get up to speed with who you are?
Sure, absolutely. So my name is Sarah and I work for a company called Spartan FX, and we specialize in helping people move money to Portugal, really around the world, whether you come from America, Canada, UK. It's all about the conversion between US dollars, Canadian dollars, pounds, etc. into euros, and how we help in the process, making it easier for you, but also making it cheaper and help managing the exchange rate fluctuations, which we'll talk about. Myself, I now live in Portugal. I've been here just over a year and I live near Lisbon.
Fantastic. Excellent stuff. Yeah, that got us to about the third floor. Very good. But excellent elevator pitch there. So let's address these harsh truths from your point of view there. Currency fluctuations that can catch people short. And how, I mean, it's a chilling thought, isn't it? That the currency fluctuation, which I don't think we really anticipated. We didn't think a lot about this in the last few years, but it's certainly a reality now. And it might be eroding people's income and changing their cost of living ratio, their balance here between the United States, for example, and Portugal. How can you help people avoid that pitfall and that difficulty?
I think actually it's interesting because I think obviously coming on the show and the webinars, I've been talking about this a lot, and it's things that people don't realize. They leave it to the last minute. They are being asked to make a payment, whether it be for a property, whether rental or a lawyer's fees, and that's when they're thinking about it. So it's encouraging people to think about it in advance, and that's kind of the educational piece we were trying to do. Obviously, when the rates are good, people don't notice it as much. Now, when we're seeing the rates moving against them, that's when clients, unfortunately, are saying, "Oh, Sarah, you were right." Unfortunately, I don't want to be right, but that's what's happened. So now it's something people are talking about more and thinking about more because they're really seeing how it can impact. And it's not just a case of what can we save them against their bank. That is one element. You know, if you're using your bank or another competitor, what price are you going to give on the day? That's one element. I mean, I had a client, we were talking about, okay, it was 500,000 euros, but the difference between us and their American bank was about 26,000. So we were still that is a saving, which, you know, obviously on small amounts, large amounts makes a difference, but actually exchange rate movements, that can make such a difference. I mean, up until recently, we'd seen probably about 14% drop in the exchange rate. And really on sort of large amounts, we're talking about, you know, nearly 80,000 US dollar difference, which can really make an impact, especially if you're looking at sort of property. But I know myself, you know, I transfer my salary every month. You know, you're looking at talking about people that are doing pensions or sort of living costs. I mean, the thing to look at is we need to be monitoring the rate for you. It's not to put you off. The reality is this is the new reality that we're in. Yes, we can't, unfortunately, I can't make the rate better for you and take you back a couple of months. This is our new reality. I've been doing this now for nearly 20 years next year. And I started in this industry when the first recession hit in, well, for me, in my work capacity. And there was real panic around, will it put people off? People won't want to move. People won't want to buy property. The reality is, why are you moving to Portugal? It's the lifestyle. You've got to look at the pros and cons. And now you'll get used to these rates. And this is our new reality. And how can we help you manage the rates going forward? There is a lot of volatility at the moment. But what we need to do is a couple of things. One, looking at maybe buying euros in advance. You might not like the rates right now, but let's talk about your situation, because what happens if they get worse? We have a facility where we can secure a rate now for a future payment. The benefits of that is just peace of mind and help you budget, whether you're buying a property and you've got a date of a completion in, say, 12 weeks time, for example. You know now exactly how much that property is going to cost you. Whether it be something around pension transfers, social security, we can lock the rate up till about 2 years. You might not want to do that, but you might want to look at maybe 6 or 12 months. Again, it's all about controlling your budget. You know exactly how much you've got to spend. And the other thing as well is just maybe it's a case of helping you monitor the rate. That's our job. We look at it all the time. So at the moment, although we've lost, as I said, 14% in the last, since the beginning of the year, this week we've had a bit of positive news. We've moved in your favor slightly in the last 3 days. And that difference on 500,000 is roughly about 20,000 US dollars. Incredible. If you were moving your pension, social security, say it came to about 35,000 US dollars over a 12-month period, that difference is 1,500 US dollars. So that's a real saving. It's looking at sort of, all right, we might not be able to save you thousands of pounds on a pension, but every little helps. So where can we look at where the rates may be moving in your favor? Maybe we can lock into the rate. There's a few tools that we can look at. The other thing as well is some receiving banks in Portugal some banks in Portugal will charge a receiving fee, and we take that charge on. It might only be small, maybe only be about maybe 15 to 20 euros. But if you're doing a transfer every month, so sometimes it may be a case of looking where you can save some money. We've spoken to a client recently who was transferring money from the US, and they were being charged 65 US dollars every month to transfer their funds. That's very expensive. There are much cheaper banks out there that you need to be looking at. So again, it's having the conversation and looking at the whole process of where's your money, what have you been charging, and where can we sort of plug the leak, so to speak, but also help manage you in this volatile time.
Very good. Okay, so worth having a chat with the team and having your individual dealer who you can alert to your particular personal situation, how you would like to trade, what your lifestyle is like, and seek the best possible rate, and have a look for these hidden fees as well that Spartan Absorb, other banks will charge you month after month. 1,500, I make that about 100 prato de dias, basically. So that's a saving worth having. Well, depending on where you live in the country, for some people it's even more. So thank you for the time being, Sarah. We'll come back to you. Let's go to investment with Henry Kent of Holborn Assets. But for the time being, Sarah, thank you very much for that. Any questions that may have arisen from what Sarah shared with you, if you'd like anything explained further, dive deeper into anything that's been said, by Sarah there on the all important business of changing your dollars for euros, if that's what you're doing, or your pounds, of course, or other significant currencies with Spartan. Sarah's here to address that and make sure you get the best possible value and strategy in doing that. Henry, good to see you. How would you introduce yourself to anyone who might? It's surprising to hear that people might not know you, but in case they don't, how would you introduce yourself and Holborn Assets?
I help plan to make sure that your finances and assets are structured correctly and you don't come into any sort of tax pitfalls or issues with your savings, your pensions, once you do make the move to Portugal and become a resident here.
Fantastic. And a little bit about Holborn Assets, if you would.
Yeah, so I'm one of the senior financial planners here at Holborn Assets. We are a global financial advisory. We specialize in providing cross-border financial advice, actually to clients in over 100 different countries around the world, and that's via around 19 international offices. However, myself and my team, we're based and we specialize here in Portugal. I'm based in the south of Portugal myself.
Great, excellent stuff. Now, in your time doing that, you'll have, I'm sure, exposed some of the difficulties that people have signed themselves up for in terms of non-compliant, even illegal. I don't know what you'd call them, deals or systems or investments, I suppose would be the best description. And also tax inefficiency, probably some howlers that you'll have come across and help people improve upon. Could you say a bit more about that?
Yeah, of course. It's quite nuanced, this subject, because it depends on sort of nationalities, their assets, where they're based. But typically what the main areas that I imagine a lot of people attending this webinar would need to consider is, from an American perspective, making sure that you're not investing into PFICs, which is European assets, essentially. They can cause unnecessary tax treatments, headaches, and they're very difficult from that perspective. So you want to make sure that if you are American and you're making the move to Europe, you're not investing into assets that could fall under PFICs, as they're taxed very, very poorly. On the flip side to that is tax efficiency. From a UK perspective, or Canadian, let's say, ISAs from the UK and premium bonds and TFSAs from a Canadian perspective, while they're highly tax efficient from a UK perspective and Canadian perspective, the Portuguese, unfortunately, don't see them with that same tax efficiency. So they will they'll lose their benefits, but I've got a message pop up that's thrown me off. They will lose their benefits, and there are European equivalents which are more efficient. So it's all about pre-planning. Take a look at what you've got, understand how that will potentially be taxed, and then review whether or not there are alternatives that could potentially save you in tax and be better suited for your future life in Portugal.
Very good. I think the message that might have come up was, what's a PFIX? That's certainly coming up in the comments here. I think people want to know so they can check if that's what they've got. Could you say a little bit about that? What was it? What would it be called? An instrument, I suppose, an investment instrument?
It is. It's essentially a collective. So it's a passive foreign investment collective. And that's essentially an ETF or a mutual fund that holds jurisdiction outside of the US.
Okay, and an ETF. Sorry to keep being on acronym watch here.
Sorry.
An ETF.
It's a collective way of investing. So if you want to invest into the markets, you can pick an ETF, which is called an exchange traded fund.
Right.
And this is how investors group their money together that can then track the markets and be invested as a collective.
Right, very good. And do you do something like an MOT or a checkup to see if people do have their ducks in a row and where they may be exposed negatively in the ways you've talked about?
We can do. We can definitely sit down and review things. Typically, if you have a financial advisor in the US, it's best to have this conversation with them. Make sure that they understand Portuguese taxation, make sure
Yeah.
they understand PFIC rules, and make sure that they're able to continue to advise you and provide ongoing advice. If you're not using a financial advisor, then it's best to have that conversation with your custodian to make sure that they cannot put any restrictions on your account, because I've had two this month of clients coming to me who found out that their custodian back in the US was putting restrictions on their account once they'd made the move. So
What
they
does that
didn't
mean
have.
exactly? So who would be the custodian?
So companies such as Fidelity,
Right.
Vanguard, the companies who hold your investments and
Okay.
your assets within their sort of authority or custody.
The custody or custodianship. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Exactly.
So, and they can presumably, as part of the T's and C's, they can affect controls which you might not even discover unless you ask those questions.
Exactly. A lot of people assume, and you need to have the conversation to find out whether or not they will put restrictions, and they can continue to help and advise you.
Very good. Thank you, Henry, for the time being again. If anything that Henry has said there has brought up a question for you or a concern, pop it in the chat and we'll get back to Henry on that. Before we go to Nuno Mensch from Insurance, I see that Rita Pereira is here as well. Good evening to you. Good night, Rita. Good to see you. It's a boa tarde from a hot Coimbra from Debbie. George is here as well. Hello from Canada, from Ed and Sharon. We were scared into attending this seminar due to the title, The Harsh Realities. I do understand that, and I think it's fair to say, some of the harsh realities have been exposed and talked about already. Hopefully, they won't be present or difficult for you, but it's worth having this conversation, I think, and to bring these things to light. Only if to find out that they're not a concern and you needn't take any action on them. So apologies, Ed and Sharon, if it's caused you any concern, but I hope it's been educational and useful as well so far, and will continue to be so tonight. Boa tarde from Porto, from Jim. Hot, but with a nice ocean breeze up there. Fantastic. Celebrating 2 years is Stuart. That's great to hear. We love to hear about milestones like that, and from happy customers and clients and members of Expats Portugal and the services that are offered here. But from a nice, cool Dallas. Don't often hear that. Nice one, Tom. Is it the air conditioning or is it actually cool in Dallas this evening? Hello from Clint, who I think is here, right? I have the internet run by a house mouse on a bicycle. Cannot wait for the fiber to be installed next week. Okay. Enjoy the old school then for a moment. Boa tarde in Estoril. Brilliant topic. Can't wait to hear it tonight. We're underway. That's an old comment, but thank you for your encouragement there, Valerie. Also, a couple of shout outs from Southern California. Great to have you here. I'll get back to more of your greetings and questions as we proceed this evening. Wow, Alex in Pakistan as well. Last day working in Pakistan, heading home to San Diego in 2 hours. We finally got appointments with VFS. Congratulations, more congratulations in order there. That's fantastic to hear. Right, over to insurance then. And again, we're talking about the changes, the pitfalls, the harsh realities, Nuno. And this is something we've learned together, I think, it's fair to say, isn't it, in these last few years? What can happen for people? There have been trailblazers moving to Portugal, guinea pigs, you might say, who've experienced how things have changed in the world, how they changed in Portugal, and of course, how they've changed in the health insurance world. Could you tell us about a few of those changes and how people don't get caught out by them?
Yeah, so this is something that happen every week. People that face that initially the concern was getting the visa, and then yeah, I'm not properly insured, and they need to do a step back because there are waiting periods and wait for the annuity to the end of the annuity of the insurance policy that could be ongoing. So this is a conversation that we have often with the people. So I usually say that the main point about insurance, it's not the product. It's about the relation, the trust that you establish with the person. So, and for us in insurance, we really don't want to restrict the relation with you. to a transaction, to a financial transaction that we do the contract and you pay the premium. So we are highly digital and also highly personal. This is how we like to have our daily work day. So for us, could be easy just to tell you, look, go to our website and do the simulation and the quote there, and you can do it by yourself. But there is so much that you will lost, especially because the wording, so the insurance is a contract point, and there is a wording ruling the insurance. And if you don't know what you are signing through, oh, it could be bad for you, for sure. So please set an appointment with us. It's a free appointment for all expats, Portugal members. And we spend the time with you. No worries with that. We have an English speaking team. It's all the team, English speaking. And honestly, I may be the face of insurance, but they are the ones who do all the magic. So issue the insurance policy, getting for the best quote, assisting you on the way, assisting you with claims. So yeah, you have honestly and sincerely, you have a team that could assist you. And we go further than only doing the insurance contract. Okay. Um, Especially because we are Portuguese and we know about the Portuguese reality. So we can assist you with different areas and formally because we know about insurance. For example, some of you start asking about medical stuff. We are not allowed to do that. We are not doctors. So we may know something due to our personal experience, but we don't want to enter and we cannot enter on the medical field. Okay. So I left here the main point is trust and reputation for us. It's very, very important. Uh, don't worry with the set an appointment with us. We'll assist you no matter what. Okay. Not only doing the contract, but after the contract also, especially with claims. Okay.
I can vouch for that, Nuno, and the magic of your team. Only this week, I had a concern because I have my auto, my car insurance with you, and I noticed that the payment hadn't gone out of my account. So Jonathan's saying here, you're a high tech, high touch company. I completely agree. Because on the one hand, I was able to send a message, high tech WhatsApp, to say I've got this problem. I don't know if it's gone out and why not. And my concern obviously was if it hasn't gone out, would I be covered? You know, would the premium be in operation? And I got a wonderful reply to say that it was tracked. It hasn't been taken out. It will be in the next few days. And Carl, your Portuguese is coming on wonderfully. That is a great combo, isn't it? Of technical help and a lovely human touch as well. So somebody in your team was like a professora as well of Portuguese. So I really appreciate that. Yeah. And I think a lot of us take you for granted here in how human and helpful you are. I'm sure if I just ask people to share a few testimonials in the chat, they will. Another part of the harsh realities, though, if I could take you back to this, the harsh truths about how things have changed a little bit and how you can prepare people for them, Nuno. The health system has changed here in Portugal, hasn't it, over the last 5 years? You know, obviously there's been a pandemic effect. There's also a migration effect, infrastructure, political forces. There's all sorts going on, geopolitical influences on the health system that we're feeling here in Portugal. How's it changed, and how best for people to view their long-term healthcare here in Portugal? Because, you know, people are coming here to retire. They don't really want to think about those things, but there comes a point in the process where you do have to think about how you're going to be best covered and cared for in older age. So what would you say about that?
Okay, so when we are entering on the 50s and further, we want a long-term agreement with the insurer. Okay, and what the majority of the people don't know is that in Portugal, all the insurers can cancel the insurance policy on the annual renewal date. And they do that. When we
Wow.
start doing claims, they cancel. Okay. The exception is MJN. And with MJN, we have a strong bond with them, a strong relation. And it's so strong that we work together on their wordings, for example. We work together on the insurance premiums. So our relation with MGN is not only a provider and client, it's about, okay, let's how we can do this better for the customers. And MGN has another point besides that they cannot cancel the insurance policy unless you stop paying the premiums, okay? But they cannot cancel the insurance policy. And this ensures us that we will keep our protection no matter what. Another point that we can think and could be worried is, okay, but they could raise the premiums as much as they want. These don't happen with MJN because they are a mutual. So they don't have shareholders to pay dividends to. All the money that they collect from the insurance premiums is to pay the structure, so the personnel, the office, the electricity, and so on, and claims. And the insurance premiums are adjusted to the level of claims according to the age. We know that 50% of the claims are from since we born until 65 years old. And thinking that the life expectancy age is 81 years old, this means that our last 15 years will cost as much money as our first 65. This is the reality. This is not about insurance. This is about the Portuguese reality, okay? The 10 million people that are living here.
Yeah.
Because the public system is also feeling the economic pressure, the financial pressure of all of this.
Yes, that's a harsh truth. It's happening all over the world, of course, with aging populations, but that's a harsh truth, and something I think you can help people prepare for as best as possible. In the circumstance, in the reality of the situation that's faced here, with all sorts of policies, including care policies in older age, and the best possible company, by the sound of it, with MGen as well, who won't pull some of the stunts that you've mentioned that other companies might do as well. Then, Nuno. So thank you very much so far. Again, with Nuno, we'll come back if there's any questions. I think that has prompted quite a few insurance questions, and I think Rita's been busy behind the scenes. I think you've got other team members here as well.
Gonçalo.
Yeah, Gonçalo's here, the wizards of insurance, working behind the scenes here. Let's say a few more hellos. Why all the shout outs, Carl, you might say? Well, just showing you what a brilliant community we've got here. And you can join them at expatsportugal.com. There's a lot of mutual support and help, people making friends, visiting each other across the country, meeting up at the meetups as well, that happen every other month. And another one coming up soon in Braga. So yes, Michael, hello to you, Sasha, David as well, landing in Porto 1st of September. Olivia, Botard, thunderstorms approaching in your area there, Olivia. Also a tornado. Take great care there. I hope you can keep connected as you're hoping to do there. Wyoming, Kate is there, who plans to live with hubby in Chaves as well, in the Algarve. Said hello to Alex. Robert, hi, Robert. In Exeter, the American one, over there. We're going to get to some questions soon as well that have come in for Sarah, Henry, and Nuno. Please pop them into the chat. Hi, Susie in Tamar, California. A few Californians in tonight. Shout out California. Biggest question from Janine at this point is whether a Roth IRA is recognized as this is for you, obviously, Henry, as a post-tax investment in Portugal or not. I cannot seem to get a definite answer on this, and need to know by the end of the year. Is it an it depends question? Is it a classic it depends question, Henry, or can you help with this?
It's something you'd need to speak with a tax advisor about.
Right. Okay. All right. So, can you make a suggestion or help with that? for us? If so, please maybe address that in the comments, or we'll come back to you on that later on. And very thoughtfully, you've put your email address in there, and even your calendar. No QR code as yet. You haven't figured out how to do that yet, have you, in the chat? But don't worry, Henry's got a QR code as well. His famous QR code for making an appointment with Henry there. So Janine, we'll do our best to help you and get back to you on that. Are they good investments denominated in euros? That gets around the currency question. Does it? Beth and that's for you, Beth. Sarah and Henry might address that. Are they good investments denominated in euros? Would you want to go have a go at that first, Henry?
Yeah, no, there are. They're definitely euro-denominated investments. Obviously, we need to be careful of PFICs, as I've mentioned already. But yes, there's definitely euro-denominated investments available, whether that depends on sort of length of time, risk appetite, objectives and goals. We can take that into consideration and then run through your options.
Very good. Okay. But I think maybe Sarah Henry's nailed it there. Okay. I think you've also dealt, Henry, behind the scenes with PFIC and the PFIC's instrument there. Good evening to you, Jay, as well. Thank you for being here. Any clarity to the newest versions of the NHR tax regimen? I think that's a town hall question that will follow at 9 o'clock this evening. Bring that to the town hall, if you will, Jay, and we'll get you an answer on that. Denise is here. Boa noite, todos, Henry. I don't know if it's possible, but can you also cover others not from the US or UK? This may well be South Africa, who need to have some advice on either moving investments and investing in Europe or leaving them in their country of origin. Could you help somebody if they were in South Africa, for example?
Of course. Of course, we can help with the pre-planning aspect and then for when they're here as well. So yeah, definitely.
Great news for Denise there. Nunu, I'm working with a team member of Winsurance for pet insurance. They also do pet insurance there. This is one of the difficulties of Zoom. You're reading a comment and then someone adds another comment and it completely disappears. Terrell, thank you very much. It's Amelia, who's kind and high touch, just as you say there. Debbie also really happy with the pet insurance I got through Winsurance. I get a discount. Wow, I get a discount on all services at the veterinarian and they reimburse for covered charges. That sounds like a good policy there. If you want to know more about that, please pop a question about pet insurance into the chat. For you, from Alex, Nuno, or for Rita, from which date should we get travel insurance for VFS appointments? Starting on the day of appointment or some other date? Or do we just promise to get it once approved?
Okay, so should be the day that you are planning to land in Portugal / Schengen area. So I'm assuming that you're going to enter in the Schengen area through Portugal. So should be the date that you're planning to arrive to Portugal. But if you are planning to enter through a different country, that should be the initial date.
Okay, there you go, Alex. Answer for you there. And David, we've answered that for you. MGen is the company that Nuno mentioned. Is it true, staying with you, Nuno, is it true that you must sign up for life insurance if you get a mortgage for a house in Portugal? Some banks, some lenders are asking you to do that. Do you have to go with them, Nuno?
The large majority of the banks do that.
Right. Okay.
And they, besides that, they require a life insurance and the property insurance. Sometimes they require that you do that with them.
Right.
Usually you will be paying more rather than with a different insurer, but
yes, that's one of their requirements. That's I guess they're getting some extra value out of you, aren't they? Okay.
You could negotiate that on the second year.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. So you can renegotiate on the second year, which they probably don't tell you. Right, but Nuno did. Nuno did tonight. There's a harsh reality debunked right there. Thanks, Nuno, for that. That people may thank you later for that. Debbie says, I've got MGen through insurance as a senior. Extremely pleased with it. Is there a home insurance if you buy an apartment? Gonzalo was straight onto that. Yes, we work with property insurance as well. Pretty much anything you can humanly insure, Winsurance will take care of that for you. Peda is here. Good to see you, Peda. Insurance related questions there. They're all the contact details for Winsurance are there, and specifically for the individuals, if you'd like the human approach and you want to get in touch with a nominated person. That's how it works with our dream team here at Expats Portugal. You're going to be working with individuals, nominated individuals at the Spartan FX team, obviously at Holborn Assets, and with Nunu's Winsurance team as well. Laurie, tell me if that's a public question. I think you're in a conversation with Rita. I don't want to read that out unnecessarily in the recording. Henry, a question for you, and it's a big one. Are you loving living in Portugal? Not really a finance question, but I think a good bit of background info.
Yeah, loving it. So we're settled now. We're really enjoying it. We've done our sort of scouting missions, and we're now at the part where we're exploring about where we see our future and to stay up for the long term.
Of course, because some of your colleagues, Jason will want you near as a boozing buddy, presumably in the Algarve. You might have other ideas, of course. And we are sport for choice here. I mean, would you dare say what the places are on your list, or is that giving too much away? You don't want to.
Giving too much away, and it's probably
okay.
not.
I tried, everybody. I did try. Maybe you'll tell us when we stop recording. Sarah, for you from Terrell, if one is only moving small amounts of money but regularly, do you see what advantages there are from working with Spartan FX versus other ways of doing that, other companies?
Yes, because the thing is also, as I said, if we're looking at there might be smaller savings, but it's still looking at where they could be. So I think it's having the conversation and see how you're doing at the moment and looking at the comparison. So the things that we look at is, can we save you on the exchange rate against the bank or on the provider? Can we save you money on the receiving fees? Can we look at maybe, as I said, we have the facility where we can secure a rate. So what you can do, as I said, obviously we can have the discussions. You can actually lock a rate for well, up to 2 years, but say you only wanted to do it, as I said before, for 6 or 12 months. So this year, for the rest of the year, you can fix the rate today, for example, and then every month you know exactly how much it's costing you or how much you're getting in euros, and that can really help your budget. So if the rate moves against you, you're protected and you will be secured on the rate you've agreed today. Yes, if the rate moves in your favor, you are still locked into the rate you've agreed, but it's really more there as a budgeting tool and just to really give you peace of mind. So it's having those sort of conversations as well.
That could be very comforting for some people in some situations, I think. Right. I think what we'll do is we'll hold more of these questions for our lock-in for the premium members with Henry, with Nunu and Sarah here. Apart from some closing comments from each of them, anything you may not have said earlier on that you want to include, and some sort of concluding words, and how you can be available to people as well, if you will. So let's start with you, Sarah, on that.
Yes, so I put it in the chat, but if you want to get in touch, basically it's completely free to open an account with us. There's still no obligation to use us. You can just still have a free conversation with us. Please just, if not anything, do that so that we can just have a chat, as I said, about your situation, see what you're doing at the moment, and just seeing how we can make it more cost effective. And as I said, there is unfortunately a lot of volatility at the moment, so maybe that we can just manage that. What I've seen over the years is that people have there's been some market movements, people want to take advantage of the rate, and then they don't have an account open. So I think it's always best to be prepared. There's no disadvantage to having a conversation with us, to opening a free account and just being prepared. Have a conversation with the team, get to know them. They're available on our WhatsApp, they can do Zoom, you can chat to them and see them and just keep in contact with them. As I said, if the rates are moving in your favor, say there was a spike, you may take the opportunity to buy some euros, whether it be a small amount, whether it be fixing a rate, locking into a rate of exchange, but it just gives you more options, I think, at the end of the day.
Very good. And to answer that last question, get a quote. It's fine, isn't it, to just give you a call and see and to make the direct comparison. Yumiko, thank you for this comment in support of you, Sarah, in your concluding comments here. Biggest difference between Spartan and other companies who you may know is people. because it's not likely that you can call one of the digital companies, as it were, and say, hey, what do you think of this? you're not going to, I mean, you'd be lucky to get in touch with a person, let alone get an opinion, I think, from those companies.
Well, I mean, it depends on your situation. As I said, obviously, for larger amounts, we used to see a lot of people securing a rate for, say, a property purchase. But as I said, in volatile times, people do it for mortgage payments, for pension transfers. So they know exactly how much that mortgage is costing them every month. They know exactly how much they're getting every month in their pocket for their pension, how much they've got to spend and live on a daily basis. So it can still help on sort of smaller amounts. You don't get that kind of guidance from the likes of Wise, or it's a bit difficult to, well, certainly with the securing the rate for a future payment, that's not an option they often give to private clients, so you don't get that option. And a lot of clients where they found issues with using online providers, if there's any issues, they have the whole, we'll get back to you in 5 working days, and that can be quite stressful depending on what you're doing.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. I may have some extra questions, but for time being, people are trying to get their questions in here, and it's important for us to ask the questions of premium members who can't be here for the recording. If you don't hear them in this part, I will make sure those questions are recorded, so you will get the answers. That's another service we offer for premium members. If you can't make it, you get access to the recording thereafter. Closing comments from you, please, Henry.
Everyone's situation is different, whether you're coming from the US, the UK, or somewhere else, and assets could be abroad, back in your home country. But plan early, be proactive rather than reactive. And yeah, reach out to myself. We can sit down, have a meeting, or I've dropped my email in the chat. Feel free to send over any emails, because it is very personal talking about your finances and wealth. And we can review your situation and have a look at whether or not you may need or may not need to do anything. But yeah,
okay.
Feel free to reach out.
Very good. Very good. Excellent. Thank you for being here tonight, Henry. Thank you, Sarah. Finally, Nunu, on behalf of you and your colleagues here this evening from Winsurance. Oh, are we going to have you unmuted, Nunu, for this?
Sorry, I'm here.
Have you got your Scout badge for unmuting Zoom yet? Because I think that might be one the Scouting Association could introduce.
Well, there is no specialty for that. Okay, so instead of saying that we are good, which we really are, my suggestion is talk with different brokers and with the bank guy that is trying to sell you the insurance policy. Also talk with us. Do questions, a lot of questions, detailed questions, and then decide by yourself who could represent you the best during your stay in Portugal and with the insurance portfolio that you will need for sure.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Nuno, Rita, and Gonzalo, who are here this evening. You want to add something else, I think, Nuno?
Yeah, by the way, I saw that Linda Coran and Jonathan Booth put your questions. I'll come back to you tomorrow.
Right, very good. And actually, we'll come back to premium members who are here and not here who've asked questions in the second part of this recording, which is exclusively for premium members and not for our YouTube recording. Join the premium members at expatsportugal.com. Thanks again to you, Sarah, to you, Henry, and to you, Nuno, Rita, and Gonzalo for being here this evening. Let's go ask more questions of a more personal nature and questions that the premium members wanted to ask you one-to-one in the second part of our session this evening. Thank you very much.